What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Underdog podcast, episode 10 for my week 3 power rankings. Was planning on doing other videos last week, but Game Pass did not have the All-22 film up, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do, but those will be up this week. Tomorrow we'll have extensive breakdowns of games and probably my week 3 picks against the spread and straight up. And then Friday we're going to do 5 stars of the week and 5 trash cans of the week. So that'll be interesting to do, but we're going to get right into this here. Same team starting it off. The 32nd team is Jacksonville Jaguars, no movement. They had a really good first start to the game. Trevor Lawrence dropped a dime to Marvin Jones, I believe. Beautiful throw, but after that, their offense didn't really do anything. Their defense did get some stops in the red zone, though, so I have to give them some credit there. Their defense did get some stops in the red zone, but genuinely, they didn't play very well. I know Jamal Agnew had a kickoff return for a touchdown, but, that's kind of all you have to take away is that special teams improved. 31, you got Houston. I wanted to put them higher, but with the Tyrod Taylor injury, I just don't know how effective Davis Mills is going to be, and I didn't really see him play a ton against Cleveland, so I'm going to review that film as well. But Davis Mills, going to get the start in the next couple weeks, and it's kind of interesting because the last 2 guys to replace Tyrod Taylor for injury were Baker and Justin Herbert, so maybe you got some good luck there, Houston fans. But if Tyrod had been in this game, they might have made it closer than it was or even won the game. So, Houston really, they're not a pushover, that's for sure. And then you got the New York Jets. Really rough game for Zach Wilson. I just thought he was trying to play too much hero ball. And on his first interception, it was kind of behind Corey Davis, but I didn't really like Davis's effort to get the ball. And then the second one, it was off Davis's hands. It was kind of high. It was a tough catch, but Corey Davis should have made it. And then the third one, I'm trying to remember what the third one was. The third one was a bad throw to J.C. Jackson. The receiver was blanketed and it was right to him. And then the fourth one was just a bad decision as well. He's not pressured. I don't know where he was throwing the ball to right to Devin McCourty, I guess, but just bad from Zach Wilson. Their run game looked good though, and their defense, was impressive in terms of they didn't, they made the Patriots work for their scores, except on that Damian Harris touchdown, which we'll get to when we talk about the Patriots. 29, we got Detroit. Impressive first half, and then they just kind of fell off the gas. I think it really changed when they went for it on 4th down and Goff missed it. He had 2 open guys in Swift and St. Brown and decided to take the matchup with Cephas. Didn't really like that. I thought that really killed their momentum and any chance they had of winning that game. Then staying put at 28 as well. You have the Atlanta Falcons, who were in this game for sure with the Buccaneers. They just Matt Ryan threw 2 pick sixes in the second half, and it killed their chances. And they finally got Kyle Pitts going. It's just they really need to get that offense to where they're really scoring a lot more than they are right now. And then 27, New York Giants. Was Dexter Lawrence offsides? No. But you still, at the end of the game, can't put yourself in a position to be called offsides. But I thought Daniel Jones played well in this game, made a lot of plays, and actually they didn't lose the game because of him. They lost because of his weapons, which is a difference in change. He threw a great pass to Darius Slayton. It was dropped, and I believe somebody else dropped another one. So he did make plays to win that game. It's just, I think, his guys let him down a little bit. And then Saquon, man, he needs to request a trade, bro. And then at 26, dropping 1 spot. Not necessarily because of their performance. I think other guys kind of trumped them, but it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I will say Jalen Hurts did give his guys opportunities to make plays. I think he took 7 deep shots and only completed 2 of them, but at least he was giving them opportunities. he did it. Everybody looks at his completion percentage, but I'm telling you, like, completion percentage is not everything to look at. I thought Jalen Hurts played well that game. They just didn't capitalize on the opportunities they needed to because that team's young and they got a young coach. I think Philly Monday night against Dallas will be an interesting game for sure. And then you have Cincinnati dropping 3 spots. I just felt that offensive line didn't give Burrow any time this week, and it really showed when he threw 3 interceptions on 3 straight pass attempts. I also felt like it was partly the play calling too, because they were trying to dink and dump it. And that's not this offense. This offense is, I don't want to say air raid, because I don't think it's an air raid offense. I think it's one that you need to attack the middle of the field on those intermediate throws, because that's what these guys are built off of. And take your shots when you have Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd one-on-one, and then look underneath on those to Joe Mixon and Boyd, and then have Uzama work over the middle. I just thought it was very, conservative, and I felt like, especially against a good defense, you have to attack them. And the Bears didn't have a good secondary, so I thought, hey, why don't you go one-on-one matchups with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, because they're way better than those corners out there, but they didn't, which I thought was really surprising. And then moving up right ahead of them, this team, they beat them. Chicago's moving up 2 spots. This offense is very lackluster, but I don't think it's the fault of Andy Dalton, honestly. I just think that they don't have the personnel to do it, and their offensive line is really poor. Andy Dalton avoided a major injury, so we'll see if he's ready to go for week 3. If not, you get Justin Fields. But I think it's smart, seeing with what's happening to Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson especially, I think it's smart to sit Justin Fields till at least you're out of playoff contention, and then, you have no expectation for him at that point, and then just let him loose. But I think Andy Dalton should be the quarterback of this team going forward, honestly. I think that's a smart move by the Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy, of not necessarily trying to save his job, but trying to really, develop this kid into being their next quarterback in Justin Fields. At 23, I have the Miami Dolphins dropping 2 spots. Just pitiful performance on offense. I mean, they couldn't move the ball for anything against Buffalo. And Tua going down, it just sucks, man. I mean, I've been hard on Tua for sure, but you never want to see a guy get injured. And, I like Brissett. So maybe Brissett can, bring a different spark to this offense, because he does have a way better arm than Tua. He can push the ball down the field, but that offensive line really needs to be addressed. Jesse Davis just got absolutely murdered on Sunday, man. And then at 22, dropping 2 spots as well as the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz goes down with 2 sprained ankles, which is fucking hard to do, man. Spraining both of your ankles, but I'm not out on Carson Wentz yet, because I think Frank Reich can revive him, but I think this means you can't rely on him. He's had the most turnovers since the start of last year, for one, and he's always hurt. He can't stay healthy, man, and that's tough. It really is. It's tough for a guy like that to be able to revive his career when he can't stay healthy. And then I thought their defense showed up and made some timely stops. I just think their offense really needs to kick it in gear. And we'll see if Wentz plays on Sunday for that team. And then at 21, we have the Carolina Panthers moving up 3 spots. Their defense might be legit, man. That front 7 took it to Jameis and got after him against a really, really good offensive line. And their secondary was making plays. Now, I know Jameis threw a stupid-ass interception right to somebody because he's trying to play hero ball, but J.C. Horn made a really nice play and read Jameis and got a nice pick. But, I think their defense has really taken some strides, and it shows Matt Rule's, I think, intelligence as a head coach to say, hey, in his first year, takes all defensive players, and those guys are difference makers. And even this year, taking J.C. Horn with their first pick, I think really shows that Matt Rule and I don't remember their GM, but they really have a clear understanding of how they want to build this team, and it's nice to see that they're paying off because they're one of the teams that I'm rooting for. And then at 20, moving up 3 spots, is the Denver Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater looks legit, and I saw a stat that was, I think, under 10 yards, air yards. He was 20 of 22 on Sunday. That's the kind of quarterback Teddy is. He's gonna take what the defense gives him, and it's working so far. I mean, they've played New York and Jacksonville, but I think their New York and Jacksonville have some, Jacksonville not as much as New York, but they have good defenses. And Teddy's just taking what they give him, and then he's taking his shots, man. He found Courtland Sutton deep a couple times. Tim Patrick looks good. Noah Fant looks good, and that running duo of Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams is really helping out Teddy Bridgewater. Kind of balancing their offense. They look really good, and that defense, defense is kind of what Denver's been over the last couple of years. I know Bradley Chubb got hurt, so we'll have to see how long he's out. But their defense, their defense is still one of the best in the NFL. And then we go to 19. Minnesota's going to drop 2 kicker woes, man. They should have really won that game. Nick Vigil, shout out to him. He had a really, really nice game, and their offense was efficient. Dalvin Cook, had 2 injury scares, but looked pretty good. Justin Jefferson kind of got back on course. I think Adam Thielen was a little quiet, but I think Minnesota just has to put a couple pieces together and really get this defense kind of in order. I think they're just getting shredded in the back end, really. But Danielle Hunter showed up a lot on Sunday, and their run defense was pretty good. And then football team staying where they are at 18 from last week. I thought Taylor Heineke showed a lot of poise. He threw that interception, and the Giants took the lead, and then he came right back down the field and won the game for them. Obviously got some help from the refs, but nonetheless they won the game, and he made some dimes, man. That throw to Ricky Seals-Jones is one of the best I've seen this year. And I think he adds something to the offense. And not saying that Fitz doesn't, but he kind of adds that underdog mentality. And 18 months ago, this dude was a backup in the AAF, bro. I mean, just what a story, man. I'm always going to cheer for Taylor Heineke because I think it's great when guys just come from absolutely out of nowhere and really elevate. And Terry McLaurin might be the best receiver in the NFL so far through 2 weeks. And that's a serious statement. 17, we got the New Orleans Saints dropping 5 spots. Jameis was back to the old Jameis this week. And they got off to a really slow start. They couldn't get Kamara going. And Jameis was just trying to do what Jameis does sometimes and play hero ball. And it got him in trouble this week. But, I don't blame him, honestly, for trying to do it. They really couldn't get anything going. And he was just trying to make plays. And it didn't really work out. And, their defense wasn't terrible. They got a lot of injuries on that side of the ball. Lattimore's out. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's out and somebody else was out. So they were really, shorthanded on that side of the ball. And I felt like they did a decent job without those guys. Their offense just was not good this week at all. I mean, Jameis was bad this week. At 16, we got Pittsburgh dropping 5 spots. Pittsburgh, where the hell is your offense, man? You can't win a football game if you don't have offense. And their offensive line just can't create holes for Najee Harris, man. I mean, Najee's trying to do his best, but there is no excuse for, 1, only giving him 10 carries, and 2, not being able to get holes for this man. Because Najee, you saw that catch and that touchdown. I mean, he's a special player. They just can't get him going. And Big Ben looks old, man. I mean, he looks really old out there, bro. And he did not look good on Sunday. I think Deontay Johnson's going to be all right, so that's good for them, but I think they're just way too Chase Claypool dependent. I think they got to scheme up some touches for Deontay Johnson, for James Washington to go in there and take those deep shots and hit Juju over the middle and get both tight ends involved. They need to rework their offensive formula or something. Now, their defense did get burned a little bit. I mean, Minka got burned over the top by Henry Ruggs, and, when J.J. Watt came out of the game, I think that kind of, changed the tone a little bit for that team, and they were missing their leader, and they just didn't look like the same team out there after T.J. Watt got hurt. And then you have the L.A. Chargers dropping 2 spots. penalties, man. They just beat themselves, man. They should have won that game easy. I mean, the touchdown called back on Jared Cook. They missed a field goal. I think they were penalized like 12 times. I mean, they just got to clean it up. It's classic Chargers, losing games because they can't get out of their own way, man. Now, I will say, their defense on Sunday was really good. I mean, Asante Samuel Jr. and Derwin James were flashing, looking really good, and Bosa was looking really nice as well. Brandon Staley, he knows how to coach, man. He knows how to coach for sure. I just think they got to clean up some stuff. Herbert, again, man, made that boneheaded move in the red zone, just throwing to Keenan Allen, who fell, but he was double covered anyway. So why would you throw that ball, man? I was asking myself, why did you throw that ball afterwards? New England staying where they are. They play the Jets, man, and their defense forced a rookie quarterback into making mistakes. That secondary showed that they're the best in the league. Their run defense, though, man, just got gashed by back-to-back weeks by two not great running attacks, and that kind of worries me, man. They really got to shore up that front. Dante Hightower played a lot better this week, which is nice. And their offense was just efficient. Mac Jones was just efficient, making throws that he needed to when he needed to, and Damian Harris, man, just running over 8 dudes and getting into the end zone. Oh, my God. That was the run of the day, man. That might be the run of the year, honestly. That was incredible. And then 13, we have the biggest riser for the week in the Las Vegas Raiders, moving up 6 spots, and they really, really impressed me, man. Derek Carr, right now, I know it's week 2, but he's a legitimate MVP candidate if he keeps playing like that. I mean, he just tore up 2 really good defenses. I know Baltimore's had injuries, but I mean, they're still really good defense, and they don't have the best offensive line. Henry Ruggs finally showed why he was a first-round pick, so I like to see that. I like to see that Derek Carr took that deep shot, because he's normally, check down machine, but Bryan Edwards was a little bit quieter this week, but he is an ascending player. And I think Derek Carr really showed something on Sunday. Showed that he can be an elite quarterback, and especially him, being injured, and I think he's getting an MRI on his ankle. He should be ready to go for this weekend. But really kind of showing his toughness, I think, really was a spark for that team. And this defense, man, which I thought was going to be one of the worst ones in the league, has really proven me wrong. Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby are causing havoc in the pass rush game. Their run defense is really good. And their secondary has been better than I have expected as well. So Vegas has really been, I think, the biggest surprise so far to start this season. Then we have, at number 12, we have Dallas moving up 3 spots. I thought what was more impressive about their win this week was their defense. Holding that high explosive Chargers team to 17 points, and really, I know the Chargers beat themselves, but they did force Herbert into some mistakes, like that red zone interception, and then that other interception to that he threw. I don't remember who it was to, because the one in the red zone was KZ. I'm trying to remember who the other one was. But Dallas found a formula this week, and it was running behind their 2 running backs, Zeke and Tony Pollard. And at this point, Tony Pollard is the best running back on the Dallas Cowboys. He just provides an extra juice out there that Zeke doesn't have anymore, man. Zeke's not rookie Zeke with that, I mean, I know this offensive line's still the same, but, I mean, Zeke doesn't quite have that juice anymore that he does. Tony Pollard kind of provides that juice. Omari Cooper was kind of shut down this week, though, by Asante Samuel Jr., but they found other guys. Dalton Schultz really popped, and Cedric Wilson made some nice plays out there as well. And then at number 11, we have the Tennessee Titans going up 5 spots, and I think it was finally they kind of refound their identity, and Derrick Henry, who had a terrible week 1, had a terrible first half, said, enough of this shit. Give me the ball and I'll show you I'm the king. And he showed everybody that he was still King Henry. Thanks for scoring 47 for my fantasy team this week. Derrick Henry, you're the big reason I won. But Henry, man, he really, he showed that, again, he's one of the better running backs in this league. And I think they showed some resiliency coming back and holding Seattle to 7 points in the second half and overtime, and really just saying, hey, we're still a contender. We're still a contender in this league, and I think that, Tennessee has to clean up some stuff, especially defensively. They were pretty bad till the second half. They got to get some more pass rush, and they got to be more disciplined. And then on offense, they just got to get Henry going, man, and then the play action sets up itself with Tannehill. So they just got to get that run game going, and then that opens up their entire offense. And then that's where you see, the Tennessee the last couple years being really lethal, and being a threat to possibly contend for Super Bowl. I wouldn't go that far. With Tennessee yet, but at 10 we have San Francisco, moving down 2 spots. I just thought that they played down to Philadelphia. And, Jimmy G made enough plays to win this game, but didn't make plays he should have made or, could have made. I think their defense was solid. Their run defense really kept Sanders in check, and I know Jalen Hurts was using his legs a little bit, but they kept him in check. And with a beat-up secondary, I thought their defense really stepped up this game for them, so that's encouraging. I just think their offense needs to click, man. Their running backs are beat up, which is, part of what sets up that play action, those crossing routes to Deebo Samuel and Ayuk and, those other guys, and then it gets Kittle going. So I think they just need to really stay healthy on offense. I think all 3 of their active running backs were hurt, in Hasty, Mitchell, and I think Sermon's now in the concussion protocol, so that's not good for them, losing depth at running back. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens moving up 1 spot, and I just have to say, Lamar Jackson redeemed himself, man. He really did. I felt that he cost them the game Monday night against Vegas. And on a short week against Kansas City at home, he played one of the best games of his career, man. I mean, it started off terrible. He threw a pick 6 to Tyrann Mathieu on the 3rd play of the game. I go, here we go again. Here comes the Chiefs. Here comes the Chiefs route. And then he went back down the field, scored a touchdown. They got a lucky break on that first touchdown with Tyson Williams losing the football, and then it bounced right into Duvernay's hands, and he scored. And then Kansas City scored, and then he goes back down and throws a pick in triple coverage to Hollywood Brown. I'm like, Lamar, what are you doing, bro? And then Lamar took over in the second half, man. And Hollywood Brown really, I think, has impressed me too, because I've been down on him. Just he's been hurt and hasn't really been that wide receiver 1 that they're looking for, but he has been open, man, and he has really been Lamar's kind of go-to guy, which was really a surprise to me, which is big for the Ravens. And they finally got Mark Andrews involved for some easy completions. And I really liked the way the Ravens played. They just kept attacking, man. And then to go for it on 4th down, man, you visibly see Harbaugh saying, Lamar, you want to go for it. And he has the ultimate trust in Lamar, man. I mean, the fact that they just were like, all right, let's go for this. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. So shout out to John Harbaugh for letting his quarterback go for it there. Number 8, we got the Seattle Seahawks dropping 2 spots. Tail 2 halves, man. I mean, they really look good in the first half. Shooting deep shots to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and then coming out in the second half, and Freddie Swain, they forgot about him apparently. He scored, and then they just didn't do anything. 2 3-and-outs, got Tennessee back in the game, and then, almost a safety cost them in overtime. I mean, they just got to clean up some stuff, man. Seattle's a good team. I've been impressed with their defense and the way that they have been efficient on offense. They just got to clean up some stuff heading into next week. And then we got the Arizona Cardinals at number 7, moving up 2 spots. Now, Kyler was fantastic, not as fantastic as last week. Threw 2 stupid interceptions, one right to a guy, and then Nick Vigil just jumped in front of it, didn't see him, but Kyler's incredible, man. His rollout, escape the pocket, roll out to his right, or his left, and then dot Rondale Moore, who was wide open. That was stupid, man. I mean, this offense is crazy. And then even though the defense, didn't get as many sacks, they were still getting pressure on the quarterback, which is nice to see. I think they just gotta, get pressure consistently to take pressure off the back end, which I think is their weakest spot on on their defense, but they were a little lucky to come out of this week with a win with Greg Joseph shanking that kick. And then number 6, Buffalo's going to move up a spot. They played Miami, who I'm not very high on, but I think just to see that they were back in a rhythm on offense. And that run game really popped, which hasn't really been the case, but Devin Singletary popped, and Zach Moss had some nice, tough runs in the red zone. I think that was really good to see if you're a Bills fan, knowing that you can rely on this running game to help, Josh Allen not feel like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. Because I think that's part of the reason why against those really good teams they didn't win, because their run game was really bad. So it's nice to see Singletary and Zach Moss really help out. And then their defense was all over Tua. AJ Epinesa looks ridiculous, man. He dropped, I think, like 20 pounds, and he just looks way better than he did last season, coming in out of shape. So he was really getting to the quarterback. And then, they were all over that Miami offense. I mean, Miami just did not look good, man. And then at 5, staying put, the Cleveland Browns. Baker needs to not tackle defenders on interception returns and pop his shoulder out. But Cleveland played well. They found a formula. Kevin Stefanski has found a formula to win games offensively. It's feed Chubb and Kareem Hunt, get into short second and third down situations, and have Baker make easy completions. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, they got Jarvis Landry out 3-4 weeks at minimum, because I think he's on IR. So that's going to be, a big change. And it's going to be like, now you're really relying on Hollywood Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones and then those tight ends to make plays, and then even more on the run game, unless if you get Odell back, which we don't know yet because that's still up in the air, so that's big. I thought their defense, man, was a little underwhelming. I thought Tyrod just kind of moved the ball down the field against that defense, and then once Davis Mills came in, he kind of threw a boneheaded interception, which kind of was the game changer. But it's interesting that they're targeting Ward instead of Greg Newsome, so it shows you how good Greg Newsome's doing for that Browns defense. But I thought their just play calling was really vanilla. They didn't really do anything until they dialed up a safety blitz with Delpit, which was their only sack of the game. I think they got to get more creative on defense. They got a lot of nice pieces there, so they just got to utilize them correctly. And then number 4, Green Bay, bounce back. Like I said, they would beat the Lions. First half they were struggling. Lions were keeping pace, and then in the second half they were just like, "Hey, we're the Green Bay Packers. We're not some fluky team. We're the Green Bay Packers." And Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams was going off. Aaron Jones had a phenomenal football game. This team's back. They just got to get their guys back off IR. They got to get Zadarius Smith back, to help increase that pass rush. And I thought it was smart. Joel Berry, sitting Gary and Preston Smith till third down to really keep them fresh for those pass rush downs, and it helped because they got to Goff for sure. So, and then at number 3, Los Angeles Rams staying put. This team is the best defense in football. It really does. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, they change football games for that team. And then their offense is cooking. Cooper Kupp is on fire, man. Him and Matthew Stafford have a really nice connection, and they are just tearing people up on offense. Darrell Henderson did have a rib cartilage injury, though, and I think him and Sony Michel's been a nice kind of balance. And then the rookie, Funk, I think this is his name, Jake Funk, I think. So they've been a nice balance, but we'll see if he's available for Week 3 against Tampa. It's a big game. If not, they're going to be relying on Sony Michel. I like that kind of 1-2 punch, so it kind of, it puts them in a tough spot if Henderson can't go. And then number 2, Kansas City. I just think, defense couldn't get stops when they needed to, and that's going to be the Achilles heel of this team because I don't think they have a pass rush, and their secondary, they don't have much on defense besides Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, and maybe L'Jarius Sneed. That's my honest opinion. And they got caught last night, and Baltimore really, took it to them in the second half. And I think their offense didn't execute when they needed to. They were scoring a bunch, and then they didn't. And they let Baltimore back in the game. And when you don't score and you let teams back in the game, anything can happen. So, I felt like they didn't play full 60 minutes. And then you got number one still is Tampa Bay, staying put as well. They haven't played their best football yet. Tom Brady's making his early case for MVP, and their offense looks good. I think they need to get that run game going with Fournette and Ronald Jones. And their defense looks good. I think they need to, play a little bit more consistent, though, on both sides of the ball. And then, once they're playing their best football, they're almost unbeatable, man. So, but Tampa Bay looks good. So that's it for this week, Power Rankings. A little bit of change, a lot of bit of change in the middle. Not much at the top or the bottom, but excited for Week 3. Kick off with Houston and Carolina on Thursday night. And then we got some good games this weekend. So Rams Bucks is going to be probably the best game of the weekend. But thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for tomorrow and Friday for videos. Don't know if I'll have any others out this week, but I'll let you know. So thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Peace.